How possible is it that a single piece of paper issued by the Nigerian government is secretly controlling your bank account? Right now, the federal government is offering over 15% guaranteed interest just to borrow your money. But every time they issue these federal government bonds, they are not just raising funds, they are pulling the strings on how much your next bank loan will cost, the inflation rate, and the exact value of the naira in your pockets. Today, we are exposing the invisible influence of federal government bonds and how they truly dictate how money works in the economy. Bonds have influence on everything you ever buy or invest in. The global bond market is worth about $46 trillion. This is the foundation of every financial decision made anywhere in the world. Bonds generally influence how many billionaires get made, how easy it is to start a company, and how easy it is to get laid off, and so on. Let me explain simply what a bond is. A bond is a loan to the government. They pay you a fixed interest rate, say between 15% to 20%, depending on the tenure, right? That is annually. And you receive your principal back at the end of the tenure. Since this interest is set by the government, they are essentially risk-free. People ignore the fact that bonds set the price of money. If you can get 15% of your principal doing absolutely nothing, with no risk, no effort, and no drama, then every other investment has to pay much more for you to invest in them. So check this out. If I could get 15% return on my principal, why is it that I would want to go through the hassles of buying a business or starting up a business or even buying stocks when something could go wrong along the line? With bonds, you are paid to essentially save your money over a specified period of time. If bond yields are lower, that is, the interest rate goes down. In this case, people will not want to save money as much as they used to. This is because their money won't go as much as before. So if they don't save, what do? Then they spend. On the other hand, when people spend their money, company revenue goes up, stock goes up, and when stock goes up, investors have more money to take bigger risk. This is just to simplify the process. But just remember that bonds are like gravity, that is, for money. The lower the bond rate, the more money flies in the economy. Bond indirectly controls the economy. When the interest rates are high, the less people will have as disposable income. And this is because people will want to take advantage of a higher yield, right? Then they save a lot to the government as a result of money being sucked into the hands of the government. It's going to be harder to possibly start a business because no one will be willing to lend entrepreneurs capital. Everybody's money will be shifted into government securities for higher yields. Meanwhile, the lower the rate, the easier it is to start a business. Borrowing money costs more when bond yields are higher, which means investing in businesses gets quite expensive. So what do you do in a high interest rate system as what we have running now? It is to shift your focus from wants to needs, right? People tend to focus their spending on essential commodities at this junction. A 1 million naira commodity gets harder to sell, right, when borrowing costs spike. But a 20,000 naira commodity is easier to sell. So it becomes easy decision to prioritize needs and maintenance services to keep things running all year round or for the period. In high rate environments, the winners are the people that help the customers to protect what it is that they already have. So what do I mean by this? Right? Maintenance and similar services will attract patronage, while outright purchases we see a decline in their transaction. A lot of time I look into starting up a business, right? Like a retail shop or something of that nature. When I run the numbers to calculate what I could make from that venture by year end, after settling all costs of operations, I could have like 20% as my profit annually. When I now look at bonds, T-bills, money market fund, or any other risk-free investment instrument that I could really make 15% plus with no risk, with no fatigue, with no time allotted, I ask myself, is an extra 5% worth the effort, the risk, and the opportunity cost of my time? I get heavily discouraged. So it is always good to know your numbers. It protects you from bad risk, bad investment, and even ventures that you are emotionally attached to. You see that emotional attachment? It takes divine intervention for people to understand that some businesses are not bound to work out for them. They would hold on to a collapsed venture with their last sweat. Being profitable is so overrated. We billionaires look at some things a little different, right? Most people think they are winning because they see profit. The more you want to go, the more money you lose. This is why you see that so many new businesses don't make it past the first 3 to 4 years and they fold up. So there's this friend of mine that spent 10 million naira to start up a bakery business. What she does is to bake all these cupcakes, meat pie, donuts, chicken pie, and even some bread. And she made 20 million naira in revenue at the end of the year. After all her running costs like marketing, distributing the product, and so on, she was left with 5 million naira profit for that year. 5 million naira profit for the year may seem nice, may sound great, until you realize that she do not have the money to do that again for the subsequent year. Considering inflation in cost of raw materials and production, now she is short of cash to continue the business for the subsequent year. And she also has a negative cash flow. And that is not even talking about taxes, right? Because most people do not see this profitability trap. You have to avoid the trap of making profit while running out of cash. So tell me in the comments, right? Have you ever gone into any business at all that you were emotionally attached to and you felt that was your pathway to riches, but later found out the hard way that it was not as it seemed? I've had my own fair share of going into a business that I thought was going to be profitable, and at the end of the day, it collapsed right before my eyes. Also, tell me the business in the comments below. We'd like to hear your experience. So this is why I say entrepreneurs should use bond yields as your baseline, whether the growth you are expecting or wishing for is actually worth the risk. The best way to grow your business is by having enough cash to reallocate to the business. And this is literally compounding, putting all of the profit back inside the business repetitively for decades. You see your revenue grow exponentially. For your business to stand out, you should ensure to have a high return on capital. If you've heard something new today and you are getting value from this video, kindly smash that like button and don't forget to turn on that notification, just so when I drop valuable information like this, you'll be amongst the first set of people to see it. And if you think that I've deserved it so far, subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate that. And with that said, let's get back to the video. You have to make sure that anybody or institutions you request loan from can easily bet on your business than the easy money on the bond market. Most people think that their biggest competitors are the businesses down the street. But if you ever want your money to grow, like banks, lenders, and investors, then your biggest competitors is the government. And this is because if someone can earn a guaranteed money in bonds with zero risk, zero effort, right? Why would they lend you that same money? It is unless you can give higher returns, that is when they can lend you that money. As a business owner, your job is to allocate resources, which is capital, like your time, your cash, and your team, to be able to get or to earn a healthy return on those resources. So if you cannot beat what someone gets in the bond market, you are wasting your time, you're wasting your resources, and also the opportunity that you are keen into. So how the richest people in the world stay relevant is by building something, right? By building once and selling forever. So the secret to higher returns is not working harder. It is building once and selling forever. Software is a popular business because you build a system, and the more people you sell to, your cost does not go up. You just keep selling same products or services over and over again. A system like this is a way that you can compound your revenue with very high returns on invested capital. To earn returns more than the risk-free rate, you need these four elements. Number one, you have to have a unique mode. That is what you have that is like a secret recipe to your business or a comparative advantage in your production. Number two, you have to have pricing power. That is something that you build so much trust with your customers or made your product so addictive that when you raise the price, your customers will still remain loyal and patronize you. Number three, you have to go into a business that demands low capital intensity. That is, you should focus on businesses that is not capital intensive, because most startups spend a fortune to start a business. So the best business are capital light. That is business on knowledge, on systems, on intellectual properties, and branding. You require minimal capital in terms of cash. So the fourth element is trustworthy capital allocation. That is, you have to be super confident in your allocation of capital. This is achieved after in-depthly done feasibility study in a particular niche, right? And you can even hire consultants to expose all the nuances concerning that particular business. So example is, even if you're a certified engineer from the best institution in the world, that does not mean you should take a jumbo loan and go into the construction industry, right? Capital alone will not guarantee your success in business. You get my point? These four elements are the consistent things to address to be able to beat the bond market over decades. It is not luck. It is not your talent. It is understanding that your biggest competitors is risk-free money and choosing what will outperform it year after year. If you enjoyed this analysis, do well to smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you are yet to, and you can turn on the notification just so when I drop videos like this, you'll be amongst the first set of people to see them. And I want to check out this video over here to see why I think that Nigeria Infrastructure Debt Fund might be a good substitute for federal government bond. As I say, wealth is not luck, it is built from information followed with execution. See you next time. I salute.